I think I was probably the last person to formally interview him. I did that for New Statesman when I was guest editor of New Statesman for the Christmas issue, the year he died. And we had it was a long interview at a house, a beautiful house that he'd been lent in Texas, where he was being given advanced research treatment for his cancer. And we sat together at a table in the garden and talked for a very long time. He was very weak at the time. Then we had dinner afterwards, and he wasn't able to eat any dinner, but he was a wonderful host, wonderfully kind and generous and amusing and witty. And then the next day, I was to present him with an award at one of the American atheist organizations. And again, he was too ill to actually attend the dinner. So he came in right at the end of the dinner and got the most moving standing ovation as he entered the room. And then I stood up and made a speech, and then he stood up and answered questions. He made a speech first. His voice was failing, but although it didn't have that wonderful resonance, that Richard Burton-like resonance, when he was in his prime, the fire was still there, and he was an indomitable character. I think he was the finest orator that I ever heard speak. He had not just that wonderful voice, wonderful fluency. He had a memory for all kinds of facts which he could bring out at a moment's notice, apposite facts, facts that were entirely germane to what he was being asked. He had a wealth of personal experience from trouble spots in the world. He was a man of great physical courage who had been personally at all sorts of war-torn places. Like Lawrence, I disagreed with him about certain political issues, but he was a great hero of mine.
Yeah, he was, I think, the most you went to his house, and I have a lot of books, but I freely admit I've read part of a lot of them. But he's just the most well-read person I've ever known. And the other thing I want to say about him, it's like I try and tell people that Richard is actually a gentle, kind, sweet person. People don't realize it, but it's true. But Christopher I think many people think, was intolerant. He was the most tolerant person I've ever known in the sense of accepting individuals. He was good friends with people that I would have a hard time being in the same room. He regularly had dinner parties, and Justice Scalia in my country, for example, there were people who were diametrically opposed to basically everything he thought, that he could be friendly and gentle with, and I think and most people don't realize it about him.